Does Donald Trump have links to Vladimir Putin? And Trump was asked about the Russian president several times during his news conference yesterday in Doral, Florida. And here were two separate times, just a few minutes apart, where he commented on Putin.
I never met Putin. I don't know who Putin is. He said one nice thing about me. He said I'm a genius. I said thank you very much to the newspaper, and that was the end of it. I never met Putin. Never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him other than he will respect me.
But less than 3 years ago, I interviewed Donald Trump in Moscow. It was ahead of the Miss Universe contest being held in Russia, and I asked him about any connections that he might have to Putin. Do you have a relationship with Vladimir Putin, a conversational relationship, or anything that you feel you have sway or influence over his government?
I do have a relationship, and I can tell you that he's very interested in what we're doing here today. He's probably very interested in what you and I are saying today, and I'm sure he's going to be seeing it in some form. But I do have a relationship with him, and I think it's very interesting to see what's happened. I mean, look, he's done a very brilliant job in terms of what he represents and who he's representing. If you look at what he's done with Syria, if you look at so many of the different things, he has really eaten our president's lunch. Let's not kid ourselves.
So joining me now is Boris Epstein, a Republican strategist and Trump campaign surrogate. So Boris, help everybody understand the nature of those two comments. 3 years ago, Donald Trump saying that they do have a relationship. Yesterday saying they don't. Who do we believe? Which Donald Trump?
What Donald Trump was saying is that there is a relationship in terms of Vladimir Putin is following what Donald Trump was talking about. Of course, he was in Moscow. Of course, the Russian president would notice that somebody of that stature is in Moscow. What he was saying yesterday is that there's no business dealings between him and Vladimir Putin. Now, listen, the bigger issue we should be talking about, Thomas, is why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about the hacks? Because of what's in the emails that came out on Sunday. The vile anti-Semitism, the voter suppression against Bernie Sanders. That's what we should be talking about. Now, if you don't want to talk about Russia, you have to focus on the Clintons. Bill Clinton received $500,000. Bill Clinton received $500,000 from Renaissance Capital, a criminal-controlled entity, and Vladimir Putin called Bill Clinton to thank him. So if you want to talk about a relationship, that's a proven relationship. That's what we should be talking about, the Clintons being bought and sold by foreign governments.
But there are cybersecurity experts who have linked this to a Russian hack. Donald Trump going on the record yesterday seeming to encourage foreign actors in invading American targets like a Hillary Clinton. Don't you want to get to the bottom of who is responsible for hacking into the DNC and revealing those emails, not just because it's the DNC, but for the safety of those institutions and certain private intelligence that is critical to our nation's security? Don't you think that there should be a consequence for someone who did that?
Of course there should be an investigation, and the FBI is investigating. Now, that the hack into the DNC and the release only happened a few days ago. There's no way that the FBI could have had an investigation and come to a conclusion on who the hack came from. Now, as far as the comments yesterday, every American should want to know what was in those 33,000 emails. Supposedly it was all about yoga, but no one believes that. We're not children. We know Hillary Clinton is hiding something. So if anyone does have those emails, foreign actor, state actor, national actor, domestic actor, they should turn those over to the FBI, because I firmly believe as an attorney that was obstruction of justice, and Hillary Clinton is hiding something in those emails. Maybe it's more money from foreign governments like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Algeria, and Kuwait, which have already been proven to be giving tons of money, millions and millions of dollars, to the Clinton Foundation after Hillary Clinton said that wouldn't happen.
Well, maybe there would also be some interest in Donald Trump's taxes if he would ever release them, to figure out what's going on with his financials. Don't you think that that's a problem, that Donald Trump won't release them? He says they're under audit. Even Richard Nixon, who was under audit, someone who has inspired the Donald Trump campaign, released his taxes. Why won't your candidate?
Well, first of all, the tax rules and regulations of 45, 50 years ago are very different than they are now.
The IRS has given Trump clearance to go ahead and release any information he feels is necessary to his presidential campaign. They've waived it.
As a business, well, they have no, the IRS doesn't waive anything. I'm a business owner. I know how the IRS works. They don't waive anything, Thomas. And as a business owner, as someone who works on taxes a lot, as an attorney as well, I will tell you, there's no way to tell from a tax return what investments a business or an individual makes. You tell that from a financial disclosure form. Donald Trump has put out a financial disclosure form of 104 pages. So any information you or anyone else in the press or any individual wants to know is in that financial disclosure form.